Okay, third graders, today we're going to be doing 4-12 homework and remembering, and then we are going to be doing a couple of IXLs that have to do with bar graphs as well. So let's start with our bar graph on the top. It says use the horizontal bar graph to answer each question. Remember that horizontal means that it goes across, and then vertical would be up and down. So the title of our bar graph is Books in the Library, right there. And we have three types of books. We have fiction, science, and biography. And then so that would be the type of the book. And then along the bottom, we have the number of books. So we're going to answer the questions, these right here, based on that graph. So you need to look up at the graph and get your information. Okay, I'm not going to help with a lot of these because they're pretty easy, so I want you to do them on your own. So number 1 says how many fiction books? Okay, so I look up, but before I even start doing my questions, do you remember what Mrs. Hagen always says to do? We put a circle and we put how many are on that, okay, particular bar. So if I look up at fiction, I look at the thing and then I need to drag my finger down to get the number. Okay, so it would be 36. Okay, so fill in your circles first and then you can answer your questions below. And then when you get to number 3, I'm going to change it just slightly because there isn't a lot of room. I'm going to say I want you to write 1 question. So this should say 1 instead of 2 of your own that you could ask somebody about the graph. Okay, so I need to look up and I need to make up a question. Maybe I want to say how many fiction and biography books did they sell all together? Or I could say how many fiction, science, and biography books are in the library? And then that would mean, so you're going to write your question and then you're also going to write your answer, okay? So ask a question. You get to make up your own, but it has to have to do with the graph up above, okay? Maybe you want to pick 2 of the books and say how much were they all together, okay? And then when I get down to the next section, I have the same kind of thing, but it's a vertical bar graph. So right away, I want to write my numbers above before I start my questions. Okay, this time you have to slide over to see the number of pets. So take your finger, go to the top of the graph, and slide over to get your number. You guys did some of these in 2nd grade, I know for a fact too, so that'll be good. And let's look at the first one. It says how many cats and dogs, okay, so I'm going to be looking at cats and dogs, were there in the kennel. You're going to need to add there, aren't you? And then when you get to number 5, it says the kennel has the fewest. What do they have the fewest of at the kennel? So you're going to write the name of the animal there. And then down here, same thing. We're only going to do 1 question. So just write 1 question about the graph. You get to make up your own and write the answer. Okay? All right. And then meet me on the back page when you are ready to go on that. All right, so we are on our remembering side, but just in case anybody forgot, we're going to talk a little bit again how we compare fractions by using these 3 signs, okay? So I need to figure out if they're equal or figure out which side is bigger. And remember, when the bottom number is different, we do that thing that's called cross multiplying. Who remembers that? Okay? So when you go across with your numbers, okay? So if I go this way, 4 times 1, I get 4. If I go this way, I get 5. So whichever side is bigger, in this case the 5 is, I know that 1/4 is bigger than 1/5, okay? So you need to cross multiply and see which number is bigger. And sometimes I like to write the sign up on top because when you're doing your X's like this, then it's hard to fit your sign in there. So you can just go ahead and put your sign up on top. So right here, okay? So do your cross multiplying. Like on the next one, now I have to cross over. I say 2 times 6 is 12, and 6 times 2 is 12. Uh-oh, what's happening there? What sign are you going to put in your circle? Okay, you decide that. So if the numbers on the bottom are different, you need to cross multiply. Okay, now I'm looking at number 4 and number 6. The numbers on the bottom are the same. And when they're the same, I just have to pick the fraction that has the bigger number on top. So let's look at number 6. They have 4s on the bottom, so we don't have to cross multiply. And this side is a 9, and this side is an 8. So I know that the side with the 9 is bigger. Okay, so just remember that you don't need to cross multiply when the number on the bottom is the same. All right, let's look at number 7. It says divide the number line into the correct unit fractions. We've done this before, okay? Then label the points, and then we do that looping thing. Who remembers the looping thing? Okay, so when I look at my bottom number, that tells me how many parts I need to have on my line. So I know that I need to have 8. So when I want them to be equal and I have 8, I'm going to put a mark right in the middle, because that way I can put 4 parts on one side and 4 parts on the other side. So put your mark in the middle. Okay, now right now I have 2 parts. Now I'm going to divide both of those in half, just like that. Do I have enough parts yet? Nope, I only have 4 parts so far. Now I'm going to divide each of those parts in half again. In half, just right in the middle. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. Okay, and then I have my 8 parts. Now remember, when you label them, okay, you start with that first one, which is 0 out of 8. And then I go to my next part and I say 1 out of 8, and I keep going all the way along. And then when you're all done, you look at this top number right here, which is 6, and you need to loop all the way over to 6, okay? I'm not going to do that because I want you to do that on your own. All right. On the bottom section, I'm going to say that both of these are extra credit. One of them is a little trickier with the time there, so if you think you can do that one be great. We're going to be doing more with elapsed time coming up, so I'm not going to, but if you think you can do number 8 or 9 on your own, that would be awesome. Thanks, guys.